Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Ordonez. Today we're going to read a story called Mr. George Baker by Amy Hest, and illustrated by John J. Muth. I want you to take a look at the cover. George and Harry are good friends. What do you notice about them? Looks like one is older and one is younger, right? So I want you to just think for a second. Do you think you can be friends with someone who is a lot older than you? Why or why not? As we read the story, I want you to just think about that, okay? Let's get started. Mr. George Baker. See this man? This one here, sitting on the porch? That's Mr. George Baker. And he's 100 years old. No kidding. Hurry up, Harry. Mr. Harry in charge? That's George, all snappy and happy in the morning. He always calls, "Hurry up, Harry," when I'm crossing lawns, his and mine, and he's always there first, waiting on the porch. See his pants? All baggy, baggy, baggy. What holds them up? Suspenders. Brown baggy pants with 2 side pockets and 2 in back. There's candy in these pockets. Little chocolate candies in twisty silver wrappers. George pops one in his mouth, and I do too. We wait on the porch and chew. I like his crumpled hat and his long, stretchy legs. His shoes are crumpled too, with long shoelaces. Mine always come undone in the morning. "Let's have a look," says George, making 2 double knots that never come undone. Not ever. See this man? This one right here? Zipping up his book bag? His book bag is red like mine, and there's a book inside. But George can't read. 100 years old, and he's never learned how. That must be corrected, says George. And I just want you to think, you could say out loud or say to someone who's listening with you, are you surprised by George's age? He's 100 years old. Wow. I really like his sweater, all hangy with 3 buttons. It's chilly in the morning and we both hug our knees. And wait. We wait, watching leaves blow off trees. They fly for a while. They float. They tumble for a while. They swoop. Now the screen door creaks. And you know who teeters out? Mrs. Baker. And some people say she's 90. Well, here you are, Harry, looking after my George. Mrs. Baker puts a sack on the step beside George, and there's lunch in the sack for later. For the man I love, says Mrs. Baker. Why, Mrs. B, you flatter me. George gets up all crickety and slow, and the next thing you know, they're dancing. Then Mrs. Baker gives a wave and a wink. "Goodbye," she says. "Be good," she says, and goes back in the house with purple shutters. I want you to just look. Just look at the relationship that they have. George Baker and me, George Baker and I. We sit on the step and wait. Side by side we wait. See these crookedy fingers going tappity on his knees? They fly across his knees. Tappity boom, tappity boom, tappity boom boom tap. George Baker is a drummer man, and some people say he's famous. Sometimes he drums on his porch at night, and the neighbors come by. Up the road and down the road, they come to hear my drummer man. Shh, listen. George gets up real slow. I take his hand and he takes mine, and we shuffle down the walk to the big school bus. Morning, says the driver. We've been waiting, answers George. There are 22 kids on the bus, plus 4 grown-ups on the bus. They all want George. Over here, they cry. Sit here, they say. But George sits with me each and every day. See this man? The one in room 7? That's Mr. George Baker. And he's 100 years old. No kidding. He's learning to read with the grown-ups in room 7, and my room is right down the hall. I'm learning too, and it's hard. I want you to just think for a minute. Did you guys think that they were going to school together? We can do it, says George after school. Our books are green, and his lips sound out the letters, real slow, but his fingers fly across his knees like a big old drum. Tappity-boom, tappity-boom, tappity-boom-boom, tap. The end. Thanks for reading with me, guys.